Good morning, I'm Jonathan of Intranet Future and this is the Social Media Show. It's Monday 9:30 on November the 13th, and for new viewers this is basically a rundown of the previous week's social media news, including lots of new features, insights from me, how you can take advantage, plus we also have regular features like Tools Tip, Headline and Tip of the Week and Number of the Week as well. So lots of useful information for those of you that are both interested in social media and using social media as part of your daily job. So welcome to the show. Lots of people joining in. Please do feel free to ask me questions at any time at all. And talking of questions, this week's question time is: what new feature would you like to see on Twitter? Of course, the big news this week was Twitter increasing their 140 character limit to 280 characters for a tweet. So what would be the next new feature you would like to see? Do let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to hear. Perhaps it's editing of tweets, perhaps it's improving Twitter search, or something to do with commerce or direct messaging. Perhaps do let me know in the comments what would be the next feature you'd like to see on Twitter. So welcome Laura, hi, how are you? Good to see you on the show. Welcome Fiona, welcome Kat. Yes, Kat's already in there with her desire to edit tweets. I'm with you on that, a much needed feature on Twitter, which indeed you can do on all other social networks, so I don't really see what the problem is and why they cannot introduce that. So come on Twitter, let's have editing of tweets in due course. And Laura agrees with that too. Rachel, welcome to the show, and anybody else who's joining in. So this is all about social media, and we have 27 news stories for you this week. No less than 27 news stories. But let's kick on with the regular features, starting off with headlines. So this week's headline that caught my eye was on the CNBC website. Snap, which is the owner of Snapchat, plunges after huge revenue miss. So basically pretty much all of their targets they missed, and the Snap share price reacted accordingly. There was a lot of hoopla and promise for Snap and Snapchat at the start of the year, but I must admit I wasn't amongst the fan army for Snapchat and could foresee difficulties, and that's basically how it's been. I don't get everything right, but I think that one I did call correctly. So Snapchat are indeed struggling with lower growth than expected, lower usage and lower engagement, pretty much everything lower. So moving on to this week's top tip, it's a LinkedIn tip. So LinkedIn have basically got a new document called Tips for Writing Articles on LinkedIn, which I'll put the link for that into my blog post with the show notes later on. Very useful article it is too. And to quote from that, basically they suggest that you should share your professional expertise on LinkedIn. This is the type of content that gets the most engagement. And they give a couple of examples. So articles with things like, what will your industry look like in 5, 10 or 15 years time, and how will it get there? And also, what advice do you have for career advancement? Again, presumably within your industry, within your sector. So tips for writing articles on LinkedIn. I will put the link for that in the blog post later on. But lots of engagement happening on LinkedIn right now. And we'll be talking more about this. I'll be talking more about this with Louise Jenner. We're running a LinkedIn workshop tomorrow week, actually, on Tuesday, the 21st of November in Gloucester. So if you do need to optimize your LinkedIn profile and learn how to make greater use of LinkedIn, do come along to our workshop in Gloucester. And by the way, as a watcher, as a viewer of this program, help yourself to a 10% discount for that workshop. Just use the code NEWS when you book and you'll automatically receive 10% off. So that's use the code NEWS to receive 10% off. Welcome Jordan, great to have you on the show. Welcome Mum, my mum is on the show. Great to have you watching from Cornwall, Mum. Emma Roberts is here, welcome. Dave Seckham. I used to live in a student house here in Cardiff with Dave. Dave says, my Mondays are always so exciting, waiting to see what shirt JP will be wearing. Quite yes, bit of a sober one today, Dave. Hopefully you're not too disappointed with that. Okay, so moving on to other features. This week's Tools Talk is an app, very interesting app called Hug. So I don't know if somebody wants to put the URL in the comments, that would be most helpful. It is Hug with 3 G's, so it's HUGGG.me, hug.me, and it's developed by a group of people down in Bristol, and the idea is to send a gift to somebody, so you can like send them a glass of Prosecco or a cup of coffee or a dinner, that kind of thing. So you can use it as a thank you. Personally, I use it to thank anybody that sends me a referral, so do accept a hug from me if you kindly refer me to a new client. But you can also send them as gifts for birthdays, Christmas coming up, so that could be another reason for using it. It's a great concept, really easy to do on the smartphone, and a bit of fun with it as well. So do look at hugggg.me. Also, I'll be at Laptop Friday in Cheltenham this week on Friday, and with me will be Paul and Alice from Hug. So they're coming over from Bristol to Laptop Friday. So if you want to know more about either running a startup business or developing an app, then do come along to Laptop Friday and talk to Paul and Alice. That's it, Rachel. Thank you very much for posting that in the comments. Number of the week this week is 100,000. Amazingly, that's the number of articles that get written on LinkedIn each week, that get published on LinkedIn each week. So 100,000 articles. So that's not just links, that's actually blog posts or articles right on LinkedIn, 100,000. So are you blogging on LinkedIn? Come along to my workshop with Louise Jenner Tuesday next week to learn how you can blog on LinkedIn. So let's get crack on with the news. Facebook news this week. Facebook. Now this is an interesting story. I did think about putting this into and finally, but then I decided it wasn't actually all that funny. It's just bizarre. Facebook in Australia are encouraging people to upload nude photographs of themselves. Completely bizarre headline. The idea of this is so that Facebook says that it will stop revenge porn. So the idea, it's almost like something you'd read on a news story on an April Fool's Day. The idea is you upload nude pictures of yourself. Facebook will then store these, and then if anybody else uploads nude photos of you, they will be removed from the system, and presumably the people that try and upload them will get into trouble. But it does strike me as a very strange idea. And for people that are worried about revenge porn, you'll basically be, you're uploading your photos, you're swapping one group of strangers for another, really, aren't you, to do this? There's quite a bit of trust involved in that one. And as much as I love Facebook, I'm not convinced about this idea. But what do you think? Ruth is watching. Great to have you on the show. It doesn't sound real, does it, Ruth? But I assure you, it is true. We had a bit of a movement in the equipment there last week. We had things falling down all over the place, so I'll try and prevent that this week. News item number 2, housing rental properties are being added to Marketplace in the US. So this is basically sort of Facebook's version of eBay, and no doubt that will be coming soon to the UK. Facebook is testing a 5-second video preview feature. So in countries where there's poor data and they can't basically autoplay the whole video, there's just going to be a 5-second preview of the best bits of the video. Facebook is marking some comments as spam. If people are using the comments on Facebook to add spam, they're marking them as spam and then giving viewers the option to read them. Big news here. Facebook is, a while back they canned the Events app, and at the time I thought that was a bit strange. I did flag it up on the social media show. But the reason is they've replaced it with an app called Local. So Facebook Local is the new app. Seems to be only available in the US right now, but this sounds very interesting. They're basically taking on services like Yelp and Foursquare, bringing together a whole bunch of stuff that's already on Facebook, such as recommendations for bars and restaurants and coffee shops, and adding some new features in like maps and search. So you could basically search for a venue, search for event, and on the event side there's a calendar, so it's going to show all events in your area on your calendar and events that you're going to or expressed an interest in. But interestingly, it'll also sync with your own calendar, so you can basically have all your events and stuff within the Facebook local app. So this sounds quite big news. It could prove out to be a very popular app. So a separate app to Facebook, mainly focusing on events and stuff that you can do in your neighbourhood. So do keep a lookout for that one. And of course, if you're in the bar, restaurant, coffee shop kind of like business, this could be huge for you. Help direct people to your venue. Final bit of Facebook news, there's also a new crisis donate button. So if there's a crisis going on, Facebook's going to make it easier for people to donate funds. Good news there. Facebook Live News, some users are being prompted to do a live video when they check into a venue. So you can go to a venue or an event and you can check in, and now you're being prompted to create a live video when you're there. Facebook are warning users about using live in spammy ways. So quite a few pages out there, they're trying to game the system by using the Facebook algorithm, because Facebook like live, but they'll just film a clock or a fire or something, or even nothing really much happening at all, just with the live camera on and maybe a message in the background. And because it can run for a very, very long time, marketing wise it can be quite effective, but clearly it's sort of like boring and very spammy. So Facebook have sent warnings out about this, and repeat offenders will no doubt be banned. Facebook Messenger news, very interesting. There's a new plugin is going to be available for websites, so principally around customer services. So the idea is that you'll be able to get access to Facebook's 1.2 billion monthly users of Messenger on your website. So this is massive news here. So you can basically run customer services, take queries from customers from all those people on Facebook. But most interesting perhaps of all, something that I talk about a lot is shopping on Facebook, is that the plugin will accept payments. So people are going to be able to pay you using Facebook via your website. And talking of payments, Facebook payments are coming to the US. So as flagged up on the show before, they've been available in the US for quite some time, but the UK is going to be the first country to accept Facebook payments via Messenger. So you're going to be able to send your friends payments. Now, if you go into Messenger certainly on Android, I've got no sign of this on iOS at the moment on my iPad, but on Android, if you hit the plus symbol, there is indeed a payments option there. At the moment, it says the facility isn't working, or my account isn't enabled, or words to that effect. But it's kind of like halfway there. So this payments facility is going to be there pretty soon, one would imagine. So a great, quick and easy alternative to PayPal. And talking of PayPal, you'll be able to use PayPal as a mechanism to send money as well as your payment card. Facebook Workplace news. Facebook is teaming up with Salesforce. Announcement at the Salesforce conference last Tuesday. The partnership is designed to improve Facebook's workplace. So this is Facebook's intranet, its internal service to help teams work together within a company. The partnership is designed to bring Salesforce enterprise software tools into Facebook, e.g. Salesforce's Quip, word processing and spreadsheet tools. So clearly they're taking on Microsoft, and arguably LinkedIn and Microsoft, because as we'll see shortly, LinkedIn is beginning to amalgamate some of the Microsoft Office products into its service. Instagram news. Instagram now allows any photo older than 24 hours, so previously it was just photos taken within the last day, to be uploaded to stories. Videos also. So stories users out there, Kat Shaler, that's you. You can, I'm sure you already know this, but you can basically now upload older photos. They'll be marked with a sticker, the date and time that they've been taken, but you can move that sticker and you can even remove it if you want to. Instagram have expanded their branded content tool. So this is basically for influencers and marketers. So if you're basically an influencer advertising a brand, Instagram are making it easier for you to do this, and you're also being prompted to tag the company that you're sponsoring within your post. Saved posts. So this was a handy new feature that Instagram introduced a while back. So you can save a post privately to view it later, basically to have your own sort of like private album on Instagram. So this is now going to be available it is available on the desktop for some users. Sales Navigator Lite. So this is cool. I installed this week. It's a replacement for Reportive. So this was a handy little plugin for Gmail and LinkedIn users. Basically, how it works, similar to the Outlook feature that I flagged up last week, the new Outlook feature, in that when you've got an email in Gmail, or for Outlook users this applies too, you basically get the LinkedIn profile of the person that you're sending a message to, or the person that you've received a message from, to the right hand side. So you get some information about them, and very easy to click on that and go and find out more about them on LinkedIn. And of course, if you're not connected, you can connect with them on LinkedIn that way. So real cool tool. Sales Navigator Lite. It's an extension for Chrome, and it's free. LinkedIn also bringing out a resume assistant in Word. So this is the integration that I talked about and even predicted, actually, another prediction that I got right at the start of the year about Microsoft integrating its products with LinkedIn. So you can basically now use Word and LinkedIn to create a CV. Well, not quite yet, but it'll be rolled out in the coming months. LinkedIn have blocked individuals from uploading jobs in China. They're one of the few social networks to be allowed into China because they've run afoul of new government regulations requiring it to verify users' identities on the service. According to MediaShift, LinkedIn engagement is on the rise, with some companies reporting better engagement on LinkedIn compared with Facebook. So for more on that, do come along to my LinkedIn workshop with Louise Jenner in Gloucester 1 week tomorrow, and you can get a discount for that workshop, 10% discount using the code NEWS. I think I must have plugged that about 3 times by now. Twitter news. So the big news of the week is that Twitter has expanded the 140 character limit to 280. So they've doubled the number of characters you can use. Now the strange thing for me on this is that Twitter doesn't look any different from before. Nobody really seems to be taking advantage, or very few people do. So perhaps we're all so used to 140 characters, we're not taking advantage. But I certainly have been, and I would encourage you to do so. It just makes things easier. I think it'll bring more users to the service and almost certainly prompt additional engagement too, and also save a lot of time, that time you have to spend cutting your post down to 140 characters. So personally, I'm all for it. I know that there will be people that disagree out there. So do let me know what you think of this new 280 character limit. And talking of that, this is the question time this week. What new feature, what would be the next new feature you'd like to see on Twitter? 2 people have put in the comments that they would like to see editing of tweets, and that certainly would be my most desired feature on Twitter. What would you like to see? Perhaps it could be improved search. Would you be able to buy stuff on Twitter? Would you like to make voice calls on Twitter, or even video calls like you can on Facebook? So do let me know what new features you would like to see, or which would be your top new feature you'd like to see on Twitter next. Post in the comments below. Just a quick shout out for other people that are joining in. Sally Gray, welcome to the show. Good morning, Tony, welcome. Twitter character isn't reflected in the Hootsuite yet. Anyone know about Buffer? I don't think it's available on Buffer yet. I do believe that they are working on it. It's the same with quite a lot of services, including Content Cal, which I've referred to before. Ruth doesn't think it's a very good move. Yeah, fair enough. But I can understand that, because it was, after all, their USP. But I think in the long term they needed to do something dramatic, and they have. And Laura confirms that the 280 characters is not yet in Buffer. More new features from Twitter. So they weren't content with expanding one limit, but they've expanded two. The Twitter display name, the character limit, is now up to 50 characters. So this gives you more scope to put in a display name. So no changes to your username. So that's your handle, your @ and then the name that follows that. But your Twitter display name, or sometimes it's just called Twitter name, you've now got 50 characters to use there. So basically now on mine I've got Intranet Future, and I've got dash. I think I've put dash. I can't remember what I put actually. You have to check it out. But I've certainly made use of the characters on Twitter. Actually, if I look quickly, I'll be able to tell you. I think it says Jonathan Pollinger, social media something. Oh no, I put Jonathan Pollinger solving. Let me just see. I can just see the first part of it. This is kind of part of the problem, increasing the character limit, and then they don't change the app accordingly. Solving social media issues. So there you go. Plenty of words in there. So I'd encourage you to put in a bit of a headline or your job title or something like that in your Twitter display name there. Now that you have got up to 50 characters for your Twitter name. Thanks, Rachel, for checking that out. Probably beat me to it then. Has anyone changed their Twitter display name? Do let me know. Also, with the 280 characters limit, there is a new progress counter. Don't like this new progress counter. What do you guys think? It's kind of like this circle thing, and it's just not very clear. Can't really see what's going on. I preferred the sort of countdown with the actual number of characters. You know where you are. You can't really see how many characters you've got left with this circle that changes colour as you type things. So come on Twitter, I think you can improve that. Twitter have suspended account verification. So this is where certain high-profile users have their account verified. This was following the verification of a white supremacist in the US. So basically, they're just re-examining the whole Twitter verification, what it means, how one gets verified, and so on. So let's keep a watching brief on that and see what they come out with on Twitter verification. Yvonne, welcome to the survey. Welcome to the show. Fiona says she likes it. I think you mean the 280 character tweet limit. Ian, welcome to the show. Great to have you on board. Pinterest news, item number 24. Boards within boards are coming soon, or sections within boards. So, for example, if you're running an event and you wanted to have a subsection on your particular events board about the venue, then you could put all your venue stuff in that section. Same thing applies on the personal side. Let's say that you were organising a wedding, planning a wedding, and you could put the church or the hotel or your wedding venue as a separate section, and flowers might be another section, and so on. So sections within boards, or boards within boards, coming soon on Pinterest. Social advertising news. Facebook, campaign budget optimization is here. This is something new. So advertisers can set one central campaign budget to optimize across all ad sets by distributing budget to the top performing ad sets in real time, and they can set a daily or lifetime budget for each ad set. So this really only applies to agencies and big brands running large campaigns or multiple campaigns on Facebook, but nevertheless a welcome feature. I like this one. Newsfeed ads are coming in with direct links to Messenger. So very keen on using Messenger for business, and I'm going to be testing out these ads on my own account shortly, and then rolling them out for a few clients soon. And they're now available for all advertisers. So do look for these newsfeed ads to direct people to your Messenger on your page. There is a new insight for ads, so there's a new relevancy score for boosted posts, so a bit more information on the results from your boosted posts. So that was news item number 27. So the end of this week's news, apart from and finally, welcome Jeff to the show. And finally, so did you know that the @KFC account on Twitter follows just 11 people? The 5 Spice Girls, or ex-Spice Girls, and 6 men called Herb. So my question for you this week is, can anyone tell me why? So just to rephrase that one. The @KFC, the KFC chicken account on Twitter follows just 11 people, 5 Spice Girls and 6 men called Herb. Why is my question to you. I will send you I'll send you a hug. First person to get the right answer, I will send you a hug using the huggg.me app that we talked about earlier. So I can't go without one final plug of the LinkedIn workshop. I think we've got about 3 or 4 people booked at the moment, but it'd be great to get up to sort of 8 or 10 people on the LinkedIn workshop I'm running with Louise Jenner in Gloucester on Tuesday next week. So do check that out, and you can get 10% off as a watcher of this show by using the code NEWS, when you book. So I hope you can make it to the LinkedIn workshop. Rachel is correct. Yes, I guess it's something to do with the recipe for their chicken. 11 herbs and spices. Absolutely spot on. So I will be sending you a hug later, Rachel. So hope you enjoy what I decide to send you. Well done, Fiona, but slightly behind Rachel there, but totally spot on with the answer. Crockett, welcome to the show. Great to have you on board. So that's it for this week. Apart from my usual encouragement to you to share, lots of shares last week. Do appreciate the shares and the likes. It does help other people to find out about the show. Oh, apologies for anybody that received a message saying the show was live last night. When I set up an event to plug the show, and it was supposed to schedule that and send it out at 9:30 this morning. But for some reason, all the messages went out straight away last night. So if you got a message on Facebook Messenger about the show being live, obviously it wasn't last night, so apologies for that. And well, hopefully you'll be now watching the replay, Crockett, as you've come into the end. Thank you everybody for watching, and see you again soon on social media, if not at Laptop Friday in Cheltenham this Friday. So catch up with you soon. Thank you for watching.